Can you take it back for us and help us now at this level, club cricket, with a few things? Because I think, I don't know if everybody does, there's a massive difference for me between each level. There's a massive difference between first class cricket and test cricket, first class cricket and top premiership cricket, etc., etc., etc. So see if you can help us.
Further, can I interject here?
Go.
I don't think there's a massive difference in skills. I think there's a massive difference in preparation and thought. Because as you take a step up, you're going to have a higher quality that you're coming up against. For instance, if you're a batsman, you're going to get less bad balls. So you have to use your brain a bit more. You have to dedicate a bit more time to and effort to whatever if you're going to be successful. I don't think there might be a huge difference between club cricket and test cricket. But if you only take it a step at a time, club cricket to first class, cricket first class, up, I don't think there's a massive difference each time you take a step up. With skills.
Right, so it is skills. And that's fair enough. That's definitely true. All right, let's see. At club cricket, there are a couple of things that people don't do that are definitely things that maybe they should do. Some of those additional tiny incremental things you spoke about. What was your process, or what do you advise at a club level? What's the process of working out a batsman?
Well, it's all a matter of trying to assess what's happening. This game is constantly about thinking about what's happening. And that's why I was telling you about in our day, we didn't need those 9 and 10 people in the session constantly telling you stuff. Because you need to work out for yourself exactly what you're trying to do, what the opposition is trying to do, how you achieve what you want to achieve. As a bowler, I'm a bowler, I was a bowler. My job was to try and find the best way of dismissing the batsman in front of me. So each ball that I bowled was a learning process, a teaching moment. Each ball that I bowled, I was looking to see what the batsman did. It's an action and a reaction. When I did this, what did he do? If I did something else, what does he do again? Is he capable of changing what he's doing if I change what I am doing? So it's a learning process. It's a matter of assessing, a matter of evaluating every time. Sometimes you think to yourself, at the beginning of an over, you have a specific plan, but that is later on when you pretty much have learned about the batsman. I do not believe that if you do not know enough about a batsman, that you can plan an entire over from the beginning of the over. You should be doing it a ball at a time.
And where do you start? Do you start at your general top of off? Is that where you start? Is that where you would advise people to bowl?
Start with the basics. You start with the basics. You're going to bowl at a particular length, depending on the pitch at which you're playing on, of course. Because if you're playing on certain pitches, for instance, I keep on telling people, you can't just say hit the top of off. If you're playing in Perth, in Australia, if you are trying to hit the top of off, you're going to get driven because you have to pitch the ball that far up because it bounces so much. So it's a matter of assessing situations when assessing the conditions under which you're playing. But you start with the basics of just around off stump and trying to make sure that you have the slips in the game. And then you start to make adjustments when you're learning as things go on. You ain't going to start anywhere near mid stump, leg stump, because you don't know what's happening. You don't know what the pitch is offering. You don't know what the batsman is capable of doing. But you know around the off stump line, outside the off stump, you have a good chance, because if the batsman is going to cover that delivery, he has to move. And you want batsmen to be moving. You don't want to be bowling at the batsman just standing wherever he is and the ball is straight in front of him and he has all the time in the world to play. Get him to move, because once you move in that camera, you have a chance of disturbing his vision. You have a chance of him not picking up the line or the length or something correctly. If his head is not moving, if the batsman is not moving anywhere at all, he has every way in the world to combat you. So you start with the basics of about off stump, just outside off stump. And if the batsman comes out here, because some batsmen these days take an off stump guard, you go even further wide. Because as I said, you have to adjust your game and you have to think about what you're seeing in front of you.
Use of the crease. So you're talking about consistency, and that's what gets you further up the chain of cricket. Consistency, but you need to find out what works on a particular pitch, the conditions, the batter. Consistency well, consistency for a fast bowler. Are we speaking about consistency of where you put it, or the consistency around everything in that process? Do you change your angles? Do you change the angle of your run up? That sort of stuff. What was your advice on that?
Simon, I beg your pardon. I don't think in my, how many years? So I played about 10, I retired at 37. That's what, 27 years. I don't think in my 27 years of playing cricket, I changed the angle of my run up. Okay. I run up the same angle every time. The last stride, or the last couple of strides, you might jump closer to the stumps or you might jump a little bit wider the stump. But I would never ever change the angle unless something was wrong with the run up or something that you had to move away from something. As far as consistency is concerned, you want to get to the point where as much of your bowling as possible is automatic, in that you don't have to think about it. If you're going to be changing the angle of your run-up, and you're going to be changing the way you're running, that means you're thinking about that run-up. And I believe your run-up should be automatic. When you're running in, you should not be thinking about running in. As you get to a particular stage of that run-up, you should know I am comfortable, I am where I should be as far as the run-up is concerned. I know I'm not going to go over the front line because this is where I'm supposed to be. This is where my right foot or left foot should have landed, whatever. So I can now eliminate that from my mind and concentrate on the other end. The batsman, the pitch, the stumps in relation to each other and where I want this ball to go. As far as going wide on the crease is concerned, at club cricket, I wouldn't even think too much about that. That is something that you start to think about later on in life. When you start to play or getting close to playing first class level, then you can start thinking about that. Because I found fast bowling, as you said from the beginning, it looked easy. I found fast bowling hard. I found it not just physically difficult, but mentally difficult. A lot of times I would run into bowl and I tell myself I'm bowling this particular ball, and it's not the ball that I'm telling myself I'm going to bowl. And I don't know of any bowler that can run in and bowl every time the ball he wants to bowl. So if you're going to be thinking about too much variation before you have learned the control necessary to put the ball close to where you want to put it as a bowler, you're going to be confusing matters. Because you'll be running in close to the stumps and you'll say, okay, I want this ball to pitch about off stump and possibly go away. It doesn't do that. So you try it again and you keep on trying it until you get it right. If you try one particular ball that doesn't quite work and then you say, oh, I'm going to try something else, that ball might not work either. So you're constantly trying different things that don't work. So where do you end up at the end of the over? You end up at the end of the over having done absolutely nothing and perhaps conceded runs to the opposition. So it's a matter of learning at club cricket, getting to the point where you have not total, it's impossible to total control, but as much control as you possibly can get over your deliveries. And then later on, when you have the confidence of knowing that you have reasonable control over what you can bowl and are capable of doing, then you start experimenting and trying other things. I don't think I tried to bowl wider the crease deliberately when I was at school or when I was playing club cricket. Later on in life, yes.
But you practice all of your skills in training and not in matches, which is something that a lot of people don't necessarily. It's basic, but we don't normally do sometimes.
No, I would practice some things in the nets and not even try it in the match because I'm not confident about it working in the match yet. And as I said, you're playing with a team. You cannot afford to let your team down and your captain down by your selfishness of trying something that perhaps doesn't work. You get it right in the nets first, and then you go in the game and you try it. So I would practice a lot of things in the nets that I never tried in the game until I was happy that I had it right in the nets. So that's the place to be practicing, in the nets. When you get into the game, you stick to what you know works. If you come across conditions that are just not helpful in any way. You are desperate to try and do something. You're desperate to try and get a wicket. So you might try something a little bit different. But otherwise, stick to the basics and stick to what your game plan is and stick to your strengths.
Like I could keep talking all night with you, but I'm mindful of the time. So I'm going to wrap up quickly on my side, and then I'm going to hand it over to Omar. So there's still a whole lot left in your life, right? You've experienced so much already that we've covered a very small amount. So let's move from cricket slightly on the field. Your transition off the field. So growing up, there was Mikey Holding gas station. I still call it that when I drive past. All right. I read that you say again.
The parking lot, no.
I haven't been to Jamaica since I got a parking lot. I read that you did some umpiring, or you inquired into umpiring at some point in time. Is that true?
Inquired. I wanted to become an umpire in Jamaica.
All right. What about coaching? Formal coaching. Have you ever done any?
No, I have helped out a lot of cricketers all over the world. People that have come to me for advice and sat down and talked to them, and a little bit to do with technique. But I can't coach. I haven't got the patience to be a coach. You know, coach is about teaching. And if you're not a patient person, you're not going to be a very good teacher. And that means you can't be a very good coach. My mother was a teacher in the family, not me. My youngest daughter will tell you that I wasn't very good with her schoolwork.
All right, the commentary box, commentary booth. Now, that's where you seem extremely comfortable. Have you always been comfortable there?
No, not at all. Not at all. The first time I went to the commentary box doing radio with Rex Pereira and Tony Koja, I was nowhere near comfortable. When I started doing television, I wasn't very comfortable there either. It takes time. It takes time to gain confidence and to become comfortable and relaxed. You know, I was uncomfortable for years.
Did you enter any commentary booths and look at people around you and say, wow, I'm commentating with a particular person? Or because you were playing so long with all these greats, is it that you don't get starstruck? Is there anybody that has had that effect on you?
Simon, the first time I sat down with Channel 9 in Australia and sat beside Richie Benaud to do commentary, perhaps the first 10 minutes, I don't think I would open up my mouth. I was so intimidated. But Richie was such a great guy, you know. Richie made you feel comfortable. Richie didn't talk a lot on commentary or to the person beside him, but Richie made it a point of duty to say to me when I was sitting beside him, because he realized that I was nervous. He realized I might have been a little bit intimidated. And he said to me, Mikey, you know, he showed me the white button on the box where you can press it to speak to the director. He says, if there's something that you want to talk about, can you realize I wasn't saying anything? He said, if there's something you want to talk about and you don't see it on the screen, press that button. You know, don't be afraid to talk to the director and tell him what you want to see. And when he said that, I said to myself, wow, Richie Benaud is really telling me that I can tell the director what to do. So, you know, he made you feel a little bit more comfortable. And eventually, you know, you relax. You work with Ian Chappell, you work with Bill Lawry, those other guys. And then later on in life, you're working with people that you played with. So as time goes on, you get more and more relaxed. You get more and more comfortable with what you're doing. And well, to me now, it's easy.
All right, last two from me, I promise. The batting debate, right? We have a lot of Indian fans on the call and in the club. Obviously, a lot of English fans. So, possibly a couple of Aussies, maybe. Kohli, Smith, Williamson, Root. Choose one. You're the captain. You want one.
Kohli.
You want Kohli?
Yes.
Would you have enjoyed the challenge of bowling to him?
I would enjoy the challenge to bowl to anybody. I would have enjoyed the challenge to bowl to Sachin Tendulkar. Although, you know, he was a great player. And bowling to Sachin Tendulkar in India would have been a huge challenge. But I would have enjoyed it. But the reason I picked Kohli of those four is because he is a serious fighter. He is a tiger. You know, Kohli, once you look at him, you know that he is going to give you 100% every time, apart from his skill as a batsman. Smith, very unorthodox, and he will bat forever and ever and give you everything as well. But I'm thinking of the entire package with Kohli. Joe Root, yes, very good player. If he made a few more centuries, I would say he was a great player, and he still has the opportunity to become a great player. But I wouldn't say he's great yet. I would love to see him carrying on every time he gets those half centuries and make a few more centuries. Kane Williamson, I think he's one of the top 3 batsmen in the world right now. But Kohli has to be my number 1.
All right. And last one for me. You can say pass. You can take 30 seconds or a couple more. Current state of Test cricket and the state of the game in the West Indies.
I'm not a very happy man with the current state of Test cricket or the state of cricket in the Caribbean. And I think a lot of people are well aware of that. I think Test cricket is not what it used to be because of all this 2020 being played. You know, I think the only good thing about Test cricket now is that you get a lot more results. But I think you get a lot more results because people can no longer bat long. You know, people are just incapable of batting long because of the shortest form of the game that they constantly play. As for cricket in the West Indies, I'm hoping that we can build our way back. At least now we have a lot more cricketers that want to play for the West Indies. You know, and that is a start. You need a big pool. If you don't have a big pool, as I mentioned earlier on, you won't get the cream rising to the top. So I'm hopeful.
Young fast bowlers? Happy with the young crop of fast bowlers in the West Indies?
There are a few around that, you know, can develop. You know, Alzarri Joseph, he has had a few little injury problems. But I think he's a good young fast bowler that can develop. You know, I'm hopeful. What you need, though, is 3 and 4 of them to come along all at the same time so that they can grow together like, you know, with what we had in the late 70s, 80s. Because what we're finding 1 and 2 popping up along the way, and there's not a great deal of support around them. And you need support. Unless you're Richard Hadley, that, you know, you're alone taking all the wickets. But New Zealand didn't win a lot with Richard Hadley because he was a great bowler, but he didn't have a lot of support. You need support around you. And hopefully we'll get that at some point where we have 3 or 4 top-class fast bowlers again. Look at India. Whoever thought India would have 5, 6 fast bowlers all at the same time?
Thanks very much from me. It's been an absolute pleasure. Hopefully we can catch up another time. I'm going to hand over to Omar Khan, who is the director of cricket at Crouch End Cricket Club. And he's going to do his wrap-up and some Q&As as well. So thank you, Mikey, from my side.
No problem, Simon. No problem.
Mikey, it's Omar here. Thank you for your time today. Really appreciate it. Can you see me?
No, I'm not seeing you. I see Hiran Desai and Niraj Desai. I see Simon.
Omar, can you hear me okay?
I can hear you. It's okay.
That's all right. Good. Okay, well, thanks very much for your time. It's much appreciated. Obviously, in these difficult times of lockdown in England, this time that you're giving to us is really, really valuable. So we very much appreciate that as well. We've got a few questions from some of the members. Firstly, who do you rate as the best fast bowler currently playing Test cricket?
Currently, whoa. That might be Cummins in Australia. I think he's a fantastic fast bowler. I think I'm gonna do a little piece on him tomorrow.
Wow.
When you look at Cummins, first of all, he's extremely fit. He just keeps on running in. 11 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock at night, same pace. He has great skill. He has good control. He has good pace. You know, he has all the attributes. You know, I think he is definitely, you know, perhaps the best fast bowler in the game at the moment.
He's had a few injury problems previously, hasn't he? But hopefully he's through that now. And I think when he came to England last year, he done a sterling job. So the future's bright for Australian cricket.
Yes, I would think so. I think he has gotten over those injury problems now. He was a little bit immature. His body was immature. And when you're a fast bowler, you need a good, strong, healthy body. And I think he's there now.
Great stuff. Okay, so another question. The over you bowled to Geoffrey Boycott in 1981 is classed as the greatest over. For those that haven't seen it, you have missed an absolute magnificent 6 balls. I think on the 6th ball, you said Mr. Boycott stumps twirling back. Was that your greatest over?
I wouldn't say so, no, Omar. I think Boycott would like to believe it was. And he keeps on telling everyone it was because he was involved. But I think I think I have bowled better than that. Perhaps even not as successful, but one over I think that immediately comes to mind is again in Perth in Australia. I got rid of Rick Darling and Greg Chaplin in that over. And I think, when you get 2 wickets, especially of that caliber, Greg Chaplin being the second one, you have to rate that over highly. Getting 2 wickets in Australia. But again, the conditions suited. Perth in Australia at the Wacker, fantastic pitch for fast bowlers.
Wow, fantastic. And just coming back to that the greatest over in 81 against Boycott, did you ever have any chats or any dialogue afterwards with Sir Geoffrey about that?
No, not really. Those days we didn't really talk a lot. I got to be more friendly with Geoffrey when we got into the commentary box together. But as players, not really. We didn't exchange any views.
Okay, fantastic. Got a few more questions for you, if it's okay. You talked about how instrumental Clive Lloyd was in terms of transforming West Indian cricket. What was it like to play with and under Viv?
Well, it was a little bit late in my career when I did and under Viv. It was a bit different. You see, when we were playing with Lloydie, beg your pardon, Lloydie was the senior statesman. He was quite a few years older than the rest of the team, we youngsters. So we looked up to him as a father figure, as I mentioned earlier on. When we were playing with Viv, Viv was a contemporary. Viv was our age, and it's a lot more difficult to captain your contemporaries than to be captaining your juniors. So it was a slightly different relationship. Viv was a different person, not was, I keep on saying was. Viv is a different person to Clive Lloyd. Viv showed his emotions a lot more than Lloydie, which then can sometimes make it a little bit more difficult playing under someone who can get as emotional as Viv. And Viv, just like anyone else, hated to lose. Just as Lloyd didn't like losing either, but Lloydie was a little bit better with controlling his emotions, so it didn't spill over into the team, didn't spill over onto the players. And Viv kind of wore his heart on his sleeve, and sometimes a little bit too much.
Okay, fantastic. Apart from yourself, who was the greatest West Indian fast bowler?
Apart from myself, I don't come into that at all. The 2 best fast bowlers I played with, it's difficult to judge what happened before, because unless you're actually seeing these guys and being involved with them, it's difficult to judge. The 2 that I played with, the best 2 were Malcolm Marshall and Andy Roberts by a distance.
Wow. And who was the quickest
in
the quartet that you had?
Was the quickest. Even when I first joined the team, Andy was quicker than I was. But Andy played so much county cricket. And again, that's one of the reasons I didn't want to play county cricket. Andy bowled so many overs in county cricket for Hampshire. He got worn down a lot earlier than he should have. But Andy initially, he was quick. If you go and ask some people about Andy Roberts in county cricket when he first started, before he played for the West Indies, he hit Colin Cowdrey before he could even move. He fell back on his stumps. And if you're going to hit Colin Cowdrey, you got to have some pace.
Yeah. Wow, fantastic. A few more questions for you there, Mikey. So throughout an illustrious career, you had loads of highs, but probably a few lows. We've got a lot of young fast bowlers on the call today, and they'd be really keen to find out about how you dealt with the difficult times in your career when things weren't going as you planned in terms of bowling, how you focused on the physical element and also the mental side.
Well, I was fortunate, Omar. I was very fortunate in that I played in such a good, strong team. So there was always pressure on you to perform. But when you weren't at your best, it wasn't as stressful as if you're playing in a slightly weaker team where you had such a huge role to play that your team could not do without you. So I was very, very fortunate in that regard. So mentally, you're a bit down on yourself, yes, but it's not as difficult mentally to get over it because you're not damaging your team as much as you could possibly have damaged your team. Physically, I just went into the nets. And I would run a lot apart from going into the nets. So sometimes it works pretty quickly. Sometimes you have to work harder to get it right back to where it is. And again, your mind plays a big part, because if your mind isn't right, physically it ain't going to work either. But as I said, I was very fortunate. I didn't have a lot of downtime as far as my performances were concerned, but mentally it wasn't a tough strain on me.
Great stuff. Okay, so last two questions before we hand back to Simon. Your early Derby days, we've got a few Derby lads here that sat in the stands and watched you in your early Derby days. Any fond memories, or what were the most special memories of those Derby days?
A lot of fun memories about Derby. As I mentioned to Simon earlier on, there are a lot of guys here at Derby that I still keep in touch with. And when I come to England, I see them, apart from keeping in touch on WhatsApp or whatever. And Kim Barnett, I'll always have a great deal of respect for Kim, and special friendship and feeling for him in my heart as my captain at Derbyshire. You know, Kim was all Derby. Kim just wanted the best for Derby. Kim would always instruct Barry, our groundsman, to have sporting pitches because he wanted to win games. And Kim was an opening batsman who could have been thinking purely about scoring runs and playing for England. He eventually did get into the England team, but he could easily have been thinking selfish. Flat pitches, no grass. I want to get hundreds every week, so that, England will call me up. So I'll always hold Kim in high regard. But we have lots of guys at Derbyshire have fond memories of.
Wow, and a guy that you mentioned earlier, Martin John Jacks, we played against him in league cricket in London as well. So he used to share some really great stories about you in the Derby days as well. So the last question from me, the funniest man in the commentary box.
I don't think anybody needs to tell them that. Bumble.
What is it that makes he's just off the radar, isn't he?
Yeah, well, even if the game is slow, well, that's the best time to be with Bumble, as a matter of fact, if the game is a little bit slow, because Bumble will find a way of livening it up, getting involved with people in the crowd and all that. I was talking to Mike Atherton the other day, and he was even there joking and saying, what is Bumble going to do now when we're playing behind closed doors? No one understands. But Bumble was always good fun.
Fantastic. Well, Mike, you're really cautious of your time as well. So on behalf of Crouch End Cricket Club, I just want to take the opportunity to thank you for your time. It's really, really appreciated. And obviously, when you're in London, please feel free to come down to the cricket club. I'm sure we can entertain you with some good food and drink, and we've got some horse lovers as well. So, I'm sure you can have a good time down there as well. But I'll pass back to Simon now. Thanks, Mike. Thank you.
Mike, I just want to echo what Omar said. Thanks again. I know not many clubs get the opportunity to have somebody like yourself speak to the membership like this. So I'm sure everybody has gotten something out of it. I'm hoping that the current playing members can take some of the especially the training advice and mentality and put it towards improvement of their cricket. And from everybody else, I'm sure they've enjoyed the time. So thank you so much for this.
No problem, Simon. My pleasure. And beg your pardon, if any of your bowlers have any little technical issues, just tell them to have a word with Sasha, and Sasha will know how to find me.
No worries. Perfect. Thanks, Mikey.
No problem.
Been a pleasure. And keep safe.
Yeah, man. You too.
All righty.